right, so I have like 4 or 5 poems. 3 of them I'm going to read in the book. It's on page 13 if you'd like to turn there. The first poem I wrote, or I'm going to read. Sorry, I'm nervous. It's just, I read an essay. I don't remember what the essay is, or who wrote it. I just read it, and it said they were talking about the border, and they called it the tortilla curtain. And I was like, what the heck? I'm like, I don't know. I've never heard the border being called that before. And then it's interesting even when I just put it in the search bar and Googled it, and I was like, oh my gosh, like it's referred as the tortilla curtain. I didn't know. It was weird. And so for this, it was just pointing out the absurdity of calling it that. So I'll just start off with that. Tortillas aren't made of barbed wire or made to be a barrier to keep the queso separate from the carne from the cebolla, nor the cebolla from the cilantro. Tortillas are made to hold, to remain cupped in our hands and not break. And yet, when they do break, maybe after putting on too much salsa, we grab our forks, not as pitchforks, but as we cannot waste anything that's left on our plate. This is how we are made full, how we make sure no one leaves on an empty stomach, which is to say, there is more. There is more where that comes from, where what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine. The tortilla falls on our plate, flat, like an open hand. This next poem is called Zoot Suit. It's in conversation to the movie Zoot Suit that Luis Valdez wrote, and I think he produced it too as well. And it was mainly written for men to embrace their inner pachuco. And in this poem, you'll see snaps. And in the film, they did snaps, and it was like the Pachuco character was like pulling the main character aside and like out of the scene of the movie and having their own inner dialogue of like him, like, what are you trying to do? Please the white man, or you're gonna try to like embrace who you are and your culture and like where you came from and where your families came from, instead of being like whitewashed and trying to conform into these societal rules. And so it's just, anyway, so this is like an experimental poem about like thinking about masculinity and femininity, even within language. So you'll see that I say El Pachuca. I know it's La Pachuca, but just playing with that. If it works, if it doesn't work, you can tell me. All right, so this is Zoot Suit. I dress Barbie in a black zoot suit and call her El Pachuca. She leans against the counter in the kitchen made just for her. Snap, this isn't a myth or nor fantasy. Snap, she stands in a cool pose. Her left hand on her hip, on the inside her suit jacket. Her thumb interlacing with her red suspenders. Snap, this is a reality of your becoming and being. Snap, her right hand is always in her right pocket, carrying a red lipstick container to conceal her switchblade, readying to draw on anyone who tries to play with her. Snap, I am your other self who you dream of. Snap, I pick up El Pachuca with my left hand and move her outside for fresh air. She asks to be in the sun, leaving me alone in the shade. Snap, selves blend, the being becomes. Snap, we both lay on top of tall grass and dead leaves. El Pachuca then asks me to feel what's ready to reveal itself in my right pocket. Snap. This next poem is honestly one of my favorites. It is my favorite poem right now that I've written, which is, I don't know, special to me. It's called The Woman with a Cactus Heart, and it's after Juan Felipe Herrera's poem called The Man with the Cactus Heart. And it's just after him because I just really loved the title of that poem. I was like, oh, that is a fabulous poem. I don't know, I just loved the title. So I was like, I'm taking it. Anyways, so thank you, Juan. I'm returning home with a few added spines. I pricked you because you pricked me. I imagine my great-grandfather melting them off for the cattle to graze me to nothing, then have me return to the ground where I'll stop imagining you with the ocean in the background. A margarita from the Earth's cup. I won't drink it in, only lick the salt off the rim and reach for the lime to squeeze dry the memories I keep returning to, turning the ground of myself to be like the sand the ocean washes away with. This next poem, it's about my papa. Shout out to the Anna for publishing this. It's called My Father's Poem. 2 fists full of cracked, knuckled dreams sit in front of me on the kitchen island of the house you built for me. I'm halfway through my life and I still don't know what I'm doing. You were making salsa that day. You know, mi abuela would put nothing but hot salsa in his tortillas and just eat them like that. The stove was hot. You wanted more from me than just my words. Everything I have, I've worked for. Remember that, mija. The jalapenos and serrano peppers were popping black bruises on her skin. It was getting hard to breathe, as it was when speaking with you. The heat from the comal warmed the space between us as you put the corn tortillas on, waiting longer than usual to flip them. I don't like soft tortillas. I like them hard. I remember you hated anything that fell apart in your hands. And then this next poem, my last poem, is for my mama. It's called Mama's Mexican Rice. I don't know, I talk about food a lot. I can never make it the way she can make it with her eyes closed. Rice, oil, tomato sauce, chicken bouillon, and water. Her words like oil anoint my hands as I close my eyes to the sound of her voice over the phone. First, you brown the rice. It doesn't matter how far away I am for her if we haven't spoken the last few days or weeks. She is as close as a stove's flame reaching for the end of my sleeve. I don't want to burn the rice at the bottom of my pan, I tell her. Put more oil, she says, though I'd hate to get stuck with oily rice, as much as I hate to scrape clean the hard bottom of my $5 pan. I then pour the tomato sauce, let it marinate for a few minutes, the red seeping over like a bloodbath. She reminds me once more I was her biggest baby. It felt like I dropped a watermelon when you came out. I dropped the chicken bouillon in the mix and watched the seasoning sink. You were always my baby, my love child. I add the water, cover the pan with the lid, lower the flame, and let it simmer. How long do I let it simmer? How long till you come back home? I'll come back maybe in the summer. I'll come back after I simmer. I simmer at red. My red, like blood, simmers to soft orange. I feel like you've forgotten about me already. It hasn't been that long. The distance is good. Our blood, thicker than oil, thicker than cooking a sweat. Our blood is contained over a controlled low flame. Let it simmer for 20 minutes. Distance simmers, my heart orange, my love soft. This is how you make my rice. Though I can tell just by the looks of it, it's not the same. We're not the same. Though I'm still stuck to the bottom of her heart, her huge love seeping all over me. Thank you.